Totem is a symbolic representation of a concept. And what that means is, as a group, we have to be able to talk about something. But I don't really have a better word to put on what we're talking about. So we use the word totem, and in that way, if we're all talking about what the totem is, we'll know what we're referencing. And the main goal of the intro workshop was everyone, you got your first 10 totems. The 10 totems are the numbers 1 through 10. And what we did is we made a small conversion of each number into a totem. The totem for number 1 is a toothpick. And number 2 is a coat hanger. Now, if you see that, you can actually use the number itself to sort of trigger your memory to say, oh, I understand now, because 1, it kind of looks like a toothpick, and number 2, you could bend it and shape it a little bit, and you could get a coat hanger out of that. 3, a bird. 4, we use a ship. So if you take that and you sort of squish the sail a little bit with a 4, and if you didn't have that piece of paper in front of you, you'd be able to say, number 4, what is number 4? And then look at it. 5 as a hook is a little easier reference. 6 as a gun. If you take the 6 and you turn it to the side a little bit, you can get a gun out of that. And a gun is a 6-shooter. It has 6 bullets, so that works too. 7 as the cliff. If you look at the 7 and you kind of imagine you're at the top of that number 7, looking down, you're going to kind of jump off of that. So 7 as a cliff. 8 is a pair of handcuffs. Take the 8 and you turn it to the side. 9 is a balloon. If you just kind of take the top of that 9 and swing it up a little bit, you'd end up with a balloon. And number 10 is a ball and bat. Taking and understanding those, especially like as Kyla would say, is if you do it, before you're going to sleep, you want to run them from forward to backwards and backwards to forward. So for this skill, for the way that you will be able to remember any number between 1 and 100 trillion. I mean, there'll be no limit. You could even go higher than that if you want. I mean, you'll be able to learn long strings of numbers by using your brain. And it's not memorization, and that's where this differs. In memorization, you might get tripped up or something. No, with this skill, you're actually learning it. You will learn these numbers, and you'll always be able to go back, even some days later. Like, you can go back days later after looking at a number. The second part that's very important for this skill is it's an imagination and visualization. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your brain, and the way that I describe it is imagine yourself sitting in your bed. And if you want to close your eyes, sometimes it helps to close your eyes. You can start in your bed. That is an important spot. So you want to imagine your bed. Then everybody steps out of bed. Most people are going to step out onto something. Carpet, hardwood floor, whatever is on the outside of the bed. That's your next spot. But I want you to start making your way to your bathroom. Where is the next spot that you have as you're making your way to the bathroom? You might pass through a hallway or a doorway. There might be a closet there. But I want you to be able to think in your head. You have bed, you have floor. Then you have the next spot. Now I want you to get into your bathroom if your bathroom is on that floor. I want you to go over to the sink. Actually looking at the sink is going to be a spot also. Now we're going to go back out into the hall, and I want you to work your way to your kitchen. Now everybody's house might be set up a little different. There was one guy that was here, and from his bedroom and his bathroom, his kitchen was like downstairs on another floor. So he had about 16 different spots that he was able to work, on a little drawing to be able to say, this is a spot, this is a spot, this is a spot. You will be able to, by the completion of this, even by the end of today, you're going to be able to recall any number between 1 and 100 trillion. And I'm pretty sure that most of you will be able to leave here today being able to do that, especially if you watch the intro or if you grasp the intro. The totems are the numbers 1 through 10, and we're making each of those an individual, unique, powerful, symbolic thing in your mind. Because what we're trying to do here is we're going to try to convert numbers that you need to learn into a way of learning it. The visualization is each of you have to be able to have in your own house or your old house. That's the best place to start it. As you expand on this, it is truly limitless. I can leave my house and I can have 100 different places that I could put and use. And as you get even better at it, you'll be able to use your workplace, your desk. When you walk in, you know where you put your thing down. It's always the same. A lot of times that stuff doesn't change. and we're going to start our skill. But before that, we're going to run the totems, okay? So, number 1, class participation.
Toothpick.
Number 2.
Clothes hanger. Sorry.
Right.
Bird. Ship. Boat.
Right. Now, these are individualized to each of you. Okay, there's no right answer on this, okay? When we had the first class, somebody wanted swan for number 2. And that's fine. If 2 reminds them of a swan, they can use that. Swan is great, you know, that's going to be totally okay to use. 4, I picked for myself a boat. It's a big boat, because when I'm using this later, this transports what? There's a lot of stuff that can be inside it. You don't make many mistakes in your brain if you start thinking about, you know, a gigantic ship like that, okay? Very good. Go back to the hook. So when you're looking at the hook, does everybody understand how you can kind of see the 5 and it would kind of, so if you just think of a 5 in your head, because when you first start going through this, you're going to be like 5, oh, what's 5, what's 5, what's 5? You're trying to think about it. But if you just actually physically look at the number and then just deform it slightly, just start pulling on that number a little bit, it's going to come right into your brain. And the beauty of it is, that's the part where you're building new connections in your brain. That's where you're really lighting up all those connections and you're building new ones. That's what's the most exciting part. So 6, let's turn it a little bit to the side, and what do we have? Yeah, you got a 6-shooter. Now that's going to be really, really easy to, when we do the visualization and stuff, because a gun is powerful, a gun is scary, a gun causes a lot of emotion. Any of these things that you want to use as totems, the more powerful they are is when they're going to elicit an emotion. When you are laying down new memories and that memory is coming with some emotion attached to it, oh, it'll really stick really well.
Cliff.
For some of us it's handcuffs.
Snowman.
But you can, that's right, who said snowman?
Yeah, someone did it last class.
Yeah, that's what they want.
Snowman sticks better, but I
Yeah,
went with
so
handcuffs
if you
'cause
want
that's
snowman,
here.
snowman would work perfectly.
Balloon.
Yeah, bomb that. Okay, but you want to be able to draw the number 11 and then take that and make it into a totem. So this is going to be the very first totem that you have made without anybody's help. Okay? There's no right answer, there's no wrong answer. I picked railroad tracks.
I thought of that one.
Yeah, because railroad tracks for me is easy, and I've used it hundreds of times across multiple different things. It always sticks good. But a ladder, perfect. Skis, perfect. Chopsticks, perfect. Golf clubs, perfect. Hi, what did you pick?
A railroad.
Yeah, you got the railroad. That's right, because you went to higher numbers, right? And I had to do it, Twin Towers. And I really like that one too. That was a really good, unique one. But all you're actually doing to make the totem is you take it and you look at it and you make it into something. Next slide. So we're going to try number 70. It's out of series of what we're doing, okay? I've worked myself up to 75. So that's how far my totems go. And they need to be unique for you if you want to do it. And you can, it depends on how far you want to take this. If you just do the 1 to 10, that's all you need for most of life. But if you're interested in it and you want to do it and you want to push and you want to be able to see, you'll keep doing it. But let's see what people can come up with for 70. So what you're doing is you're looking at the 7 and the 0, not the question mark, and you want to be able to find a physical object that you have seen, hopefully one that you would know or that you've touched or that you've at least have a very good understanding in your mind's eye of what it is. You don't need any lists anymore. You can go to Home Depot and off the top of your head, I'm going to show you with the next couple classes, this translated into an immediate list for yourself. So in the intro class I used it as an example that what we would do is if you had to leave somewhere in the morning and you're going out the door and you wanted to know how does this memory stuff work for you. There you are, you're doing your hair, you're taking your makeup, you're putting your contacts in or something like that and you're thinking to yourself, I have to remember to take those papers. Those papers are very important but they're not exactly where I needed them. So what you would do is you would use toothpick as number 1 and in your mind's eye you'd be stabbing those papers. Okay? So you stab those papers all up. Then you also remember that For some reason, somebody said you got to buy bananas today at the end of the day, and you're thinking, oh, how am I ever going to remember to buy bananas? You know what I mean? It's okay. Just imagine a hanger loaded with so many bananas that the hanger is bending. That hanger can't even hold the bananas. So you put not just one group of bananas on there, but like all the bananas. So many bananas that that hanger is ready to break. And in fact, it does break. It breaks and the bananas fall to the ground and they're slimy and they're on the ground. So in your mind's eye, you're never going to forget that, okay? And then gas. Okay, you got to remember to get gas. I'll just use that as an example. And you're like, okay, better remember to get gas in the morning. Number 3, just imagine that bird coming down. Make your bird a little bit powerful. Make it like an eagle. Make it like something from Lord of the Rings, like a bird like that. Make it a powerful bird. The bird comes down and it's got its beak and it's tearing at your gas tank. And for some reason the bird wants to eat your gas or something, okay? But you imagine in your mind's eye that bird going at the gas tank. Now finish your makeup and everything like that. Don't worry, that stuff is in your head. You're not going to forget it. Go, get behind the wheel. Put what was number 1? What was number 2? That list will come right back to you. You won't forget it. You will remember. You could actually do a bunch of things that morning, up to 10 if you have 10 totems. 10 things before you go to work. You have no problem. Some people ask questions about, well, how do I get rid of them later? The same as if you had a soiled rag and you put it in the laundry and you washed it, and you put it in the laundry and you washed it. That stuff dissolves. Okay, so when you want to get rid of number 3 was gas and you want to replace it with number 3 is coffee for my friend at work. Well, you can do that, and as your brain forgets about what you had as number 3, you will be able to replace it with a new number 3. Okay? Make this work for you. Make sure that you know each of those positions. Make them unique. No paper, no pens, go to your first position. Okay? Now, in your very first position, you are handcuffed. You are handcuffed to that position. Not only are you handcuffed, you are also cuffed with your feet to that position. So wherever that position is, it is terrible. It is an awful thing that's happening. But you're handcuffed to it. There's a handcuff that actually goes from the other handcuffs. You're like hogtied in that spot. But there's no mistaking what is happening in your first position. You're handcuffed. There's even handcuffs that are coming down around you, and they're cold, and you can feel them, and you can hear them. They're clicking, they're opening. Whoever is doing these handcuffs, you want them to stop because they're just not stopping, and they're putting them on your wrists. Okay, so believe it or not, the more intense it is, it's a little bit easier. Everyone's going to go to their second position. And in the second position, we have found that it is filled with hooks. So somebody was very evil. And these hooks are grabbing at your feet. They are grabbing at your clothes. They are grabbing at your skin. They are leaving blood where they are. You have to think about this in your mind. Okay, this isn't a fun scene. It's meant to invoke some emotion. Now you're trying to walk to your third position, but you can't because your feet are dragging. You think you just get a foot released and it's caught again on some additional hooks. Now everybody's going to move to their third position. And in the third position, what we're going to find here is your bird king. That bird. Now, in your mind, if you want it to be a friendly bird, you can do that. To me, I like the action. I like the adventure. So to me, not only is it a bird, it's 100 birds. It's so many birds, they are just moving and they're flapping and their wings are going. And I can hear them caw, like the sounds that they're making, and they're fighting with each other. It's just the worst thing in the whole entire world to be able to see these birds at that third position. But you're trying to make yourself through that. So now we're getting to the fourth position. And finally you had a little bit of calmness. There's a calm. You're in a ship. You're out on the water, and it's calm water. And you're in a boat. So you're on a boat, and it's nice and calm. So now everybody before had their fifth position and knew their fourth position. So now we're going to move back to that fifth position. And at the fifth position, there's some bad things happening. There's somebody there with a baseball and a bat. And you can see they're going at it. And you can hear the crack of that bat. And you can see what's happening as that ball is shooting somewhere in your house. But they shouldn't be doing that. But in your mind's eye, you can hear that bat The bat is hitting the ball. The ball is going, it's doing some damage, some type of destruction. It might hit you, it might hit someone else. It might be hitting and destroying what is there in your house. Go back to your position 1. And I'm not going to say what it is, but I want everyone to think about that situation that we were in. And if there's anyone that can't remember where you were at position 1, just raise your hand, and we'll give a little hint. Okay, now you're shifting to position 2. And position 2 was that awful thing, you know, and you felt that. But build that in your head. Make sure that that sticks in your head. Now we're moving over to position 3. And I can see the feathers flying. Now position 4, in your house, wherever it is, nice calm seas, calm water. So if you're standing on tile, it's wet, you can feel it, you're on that boat. That's number 4. Then we move to the whatever's going to be the 5th position. And you can hear that bat, you can hear the crack, the ball. You just hear that, and you know what's going on there. So the beauty of it is, let's go backwards. Everybody go to their 5th position. What do you see at your 5th position?
The sink.
And what's happening there?
Baseball bat and the person
Right.
in the bat.
Okay.
In the ball.
The position before the bat and the ball, wherever it is in your house, what's going on there?
Dressing table.
And what's happening on that dressing table?
There's a ship.
Yeah. And see, in your mind's eye, if you want, you can make a little tiny ship. If you like a little tiny ship.
Ship
Or
in a bottle.
a ship in a bottle. That's exactly it. You would remember that. You could go to sleep today, wake up tomorrow, and be like, oh yeah, that was real easy. It was, you know, the 10 and the. And just to brag a little bit about Kyla, she did this a couple of years ago, and she was able to take a string of 15 digits, which I don't know, that's over a trillion probably. And 2 days later, without anybody reminding her, she sat down with a guy that is very, very good with numbers, and the number was written down. And she gave that number backwards and forwards. And she surprised herself.
I know, I don't think I'd be able to do that now.
She was cheering when it was like each number, it just came to you, and you were like, yes!
It did, though. As soon as we started this, they started coming back.
That's right. make it, as you have things that are highly emotional, they're really going to stick. They're going to stick very, very well.